We're live, Mr. Chairman.
All right, so we'll call the meeting to order at 11:06. Please join us for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hoorah.
Mr. Mannery, please call the roll.
Trustee Cicconetti? Present. Trustee Hillier?
Present.
Trustee Pennock?
Present.
Fiscal Officer Patriarca?
Present.
We're all accounted for.
Thank you. I'd ask for a motion to approve the minutes from the June 8th, 2021 meeting and the July 8th, 2021 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Summary of the work session, please.
Mr. Chairman, we had a very busy morning. The trustees met in executive session to discuss contract negotiations with the Sheriff's Office. The trustees heard from the United States Motorcycle Club, who made a presentation about a facility they would like to open that helps veterans. The trustees heard from firefighter Zach Slapek, who was talking to the trustees about joining the SWAT team. The fiscal officer gave a review of the state audit that was recently completed and reported that the audit was clean and that we had no findings. It was a good audit. The administrator talked about the part-time zoning inspector that will be on the agenda in a few minutes for a resolution to hire a part-time zoning inspector. We talked about a internal procedure we are required to have for accepting federal grants. We talked about the township is working on establishing a community reinvestment area. The trustees talked about acquiring land that is north of Lake Terrace Estates. That is undecided. The trustees talked about the vacant lot at the corner of Menor Avenue and Millmore Road. The trustees briefly talked about a grant opportunity from ODOT that we will be looking into. The fire chief talked about how his department participated in the active shooter training last month. He gave an update on maintenance at the different fire station buildings. He talked about a vehicle maintenance issue in the department. Talked about how we're helping out at the Lake County Fair, and that is reimbursed by the Fair Board, but our Township Fire Department will have a presence there. He also gave an update about the Route 20 bridge that was closed yesterday afternoon. The service director gave an update on road projects. He talked about a storm sewer project that we are going to embark on Paradise Road. He talked about cleaning the Murphy Ditch. The service director also talked about a pole barn that we would like to build over next to the service garage. He talked about salt prices for this next season. He gave some details about the fair parade that will be on the 27th, and that we are participating in that. The zoning inspector discussed a potential request to rezone land on North Ridge Road. And that's about it.
All right, thank
Seems like
you.
we did more.
Mr. Chairman, Mike, either I misheard you or you misspoke, but that motorcycle club, I thought I heard you say United States Motorcycle Club. It's United States Veterans Motorcycle Club.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I left out the veterans. My
Okay,
apologies.
very good, thank you. And boy, you take good notes. I didn't realize we covered that much.
Excuse me.
Yeah. All right, thank you for the summary. Do we have any old business from the floor? If you would just stand up, state your name. If you'd like to come up to the front, that would be great so that...
Mr. Chairman, he has to talk into the microphone to be recorded.
Okay. State your name and your
John
address.
Music, 45 Coventry Drive, Center Park Estates. Only been working on that since 2006. So I just want to know, I've talked to people at Mark's, Dr. Kane, the bowling alley. I've talked to people at the fairgrounds. I've talked to residents all along there. And all we're asking, and I know I had pointed out to Bill, one resident, when he gave, and Mike got some pictures and so forth about the flooding that was in his heat ducts and everything over there on Coventry and everything. And they're all asking me, what can we expect to be done? Now, I did talk to Jim Gills at the last commissioner meeting. He said he had not heard anything. I called Tim Miller from Stormwater, And the last thing we know, they got hired a new consultant and they're going forward. Have you heard anything about this at all, about that flooding over there?
The Slay County Stormwater is contracted with an engineering firm, and I apologize, I cannot remember their name at the moment, but they were on,
Yeah.
okay, they were on the tour that we walked over there.
Correct.
They are preparing a plan to submit to Stormwater to address the issues in that area.
Okay, so we have nothing yet, correct?
But we're waiting
Yep.
for the engineering company.
But you recently, the service department walked some of the fairgrounds property that was cleaned up several years ago, just to clear some obstructions to, promote drainage through there, so we didn't, block anything up.
Yeah, I walked back there also, and I also walked all the way back to actually goes, behind Marks and then through Cambridge's pond, and then it goes through, the old Gray, Heidi Gray and all them, back in the dance studio, then underneath the body shop, and supposedly down Nye Road. I walked it numerous times now, so we're just trying to get, some type of solution to this, so I appreciate it. Just don't want it to be forgotten, and so, like I said, I keep bringing it up to Tim and so forth, and at the commissioners' meeting, so.
John, we know you do, and so the reason it's in the new engineer's hands is because the last plan that came up, although perfect for the situation, had its challenges and more dragging of it. So through this board, we said, all right, we can't wait for that. Is there something we can do now? And that's why this engineer was brought on board, to look at that option. So that's to expedite this process. It's not the big picture final plan. It's, can we do something now to make this happen? Because what the big picture plan is, which ideally has its legal challenges and continued delays. So that's why we're where we're at. It's because this board right here moved it along.
Correct, and I understand that, because they were having problems getting easements, and I know the person, I went to school with him, and I talked to him about that also, about the gentleman as part of that program and so forth and so forth. I talked to him personally a number of times, explaining what was actually happening, so, I understand.
It's actually more than just the one individual.
I won't give the number, but I was given a number of easements that they're having problem getting to get in there and do the work. And I was told, basically, I use my term, instead of having it like a Cadillac, we're gonna try to get it like a Chevy to get the water out of there. I said, as long as it's fairly well decent looking, let's just get the water out of there and get the flooding problem resolved. That's all I'm looking for. I mean, I think that's what everybody's looking for.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
As we all know, I've lived here my entire life, and the thing about it is, we all know, first it was declared a ditch, and then now they declared it a stream by the EPA, or Army Corps of Engineers, and it goes on and on and on. And so a lot of things have changed, but the flooding problem, like I said, last year I flooded 10 times last year. And the thing about it is, it never came into any of the buildings, and as Frank knows, we have a lot of seniors over there some have major disabilities, and so, just trying to make it safe for everybody and get the problem resolved. That's all I'm looking for.
Well, like Chuck said, yeah, we knew there was some obstacles with the easements, and we said, well, we got to do something. We need a new plan to take some immediate action, so.
And I understand, like I said, the three of you were never here. I came back, our first Township Trustee meeting was 2006, after our so-called 100-year reign, but at the commissioner meeting, one of the commissioners, I won't mention the name, said, yeah, it's a 100-year reign, but now it's happening 3 or 4 times a year, and so forth and so forth.
They've changed the terminology of those
Yeah,
things.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. They changed a lot of terminology, But anyhow, okay, then awesome, something to say in new business then. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Well,
I'm just trying to look at.
While you're there, don't
I was
go
gonna say,
away.
yeah, I was gonna say, just hang there. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, is there any other old business from the floor?
Oh, I guess you gotta
Okay.
grab a seat.
Sir?
If you
Sir?
could come on
I'm
up.
sorry, could you speak it to microphone? Thank you.
Yeah, Dennis Shawkin from 1585 Brattle Path. We had a road paved here recently, and they've done a bad job on it. It's all patched and dips and all that stuff. You heard anything about that, or you gonna do anything about it?
Yeah.
You need to go over there and look.
Right
Look
in
at that
front
road
of,
that's surfacing.
right in front of where you are?
Yes.
Right in front of,
Yeah,
so
right from the cul-de-sac, mainly from the cul-de-sac out to Trotter.
are you on that bubble
Yeah,
cul-de-sac?
I'm on the turn, yeah.
Okay.
And then whatever they filled behind the cement, for the yards to fill in, looked like it was like bedding from a nursery. It's not topsoil. You sink, you walk, you sink. So
Okay.
it's all sinking. And then our sprinkler systems, me and my neighbor, they put them right next to the curb. Hers is all out of ground. Mine was out of ground, and I covered some up. But they need to be reset. They told us they'd come out and fix them, but you call them, nothing happens.
So the contractor, I mean, so this is the first complaint we've
Oh,
heard
yes,
from that
first you know,
contractor?
yeah.
Yeah, and so,
Oh.
and they've done a pretty good job.
Well, the contractors that put the asphalt, the cement in and the gravel, and that did a good job. But these ones they had pave it, bad job.
Okay.
Well,
Bill's our service director.
yeah.
Okay.
If you could, 1585, so basically from that cul-de-sac out,
Yeah.
You're across the
look.
street from the bubble,
Yeah.
right?
no, you're on the
Okay.
inside of the curve, okay.
And we're currently in the midst of preparing these punch lists, so to speak, for repairs that need to be done after these projects. So this is a good time to bring it up. so
Yeah,
we can
because
get
it's
that included.
it's bumpy. It looks like they patched some areas and dips and all that stuff, so it needs redone.
Okay, we'll take a look at it, and
Okay.
again, first I've heard of any complaints, so, I mean, glad you came and let us know, because,
Yeah, you want your money's worth. I mean, if you're gonna do a job right, do it, do
Yeah,
it.
well, yeah.
Do it right.
Yeah,
You
your
know what I
money,
mean?
too.
Yeah.
mainly your money.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
It's interesting.
Yeah, hi. Mr. Thompson, I think I've spoken to you. I'm just Joyce Andrick, and I'm Denny's neighbor.
Okay.
I think I've seen some of you on the campaign trail over the years. Nice to meet you again. I have the same concerns with my sprinklers. My heads are sticking way out, and when I water, they wobble. And the dirt or whatever it is that they put behind the new curbs is very soft to walk on. Even when this, with the hard sun, the sun we've had, it's soft. But I do have to say that Mr. Martin has been awesome, so I want to thank you very much. He's been extremely responsive, always there, always present. And most of the interaction that I've had with the guys has been really great, especially the water sprinkler gentleman, Cody, and I believe it's John is the owner. I did call him and let him know about my sprinklers, and he said he would look into it, but they're very busy. This was back in early July. And I asked for Carl, which is his son, or Cody to come out and check it out with us. But overall, I was very, they were very responsive to any concerns I had. So I wanted to say thank you. And again, thank you for Mr. Martin. And you also for always being very, very responsive to our concerns, because I know I've talked to you several times.
And what was your address again?
I'm next door to Dennis. I'm at 1555 Bridle Path.
Are you the ranch right next door to the left, looking
Yes,
at the
I am.
houses? Okay.
I've seen you many a time, you know that well as well.
Just looking at you, thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. Do we have any other old business from the floor?
So let me ask a question before we go any further on that. So Bill, situations with sprinkler systems, the purpose of those things is to handle regularly. Is that something they can move up on their list? Can you poke them to move that up? I mean, the other stuff, I realize what was addressed prior can't be done, but when you're talking on personal property and people have sprinkler systems, if they're not put in properly, it's going to cause additional issues. Is that something you could poke them on?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'll give them a call.
Yes, go ahead,
Well,
sir.
one thing about the topsoil, whatever they put in there, the sprinkler systems are not, they'll wobble because it won't pack.
So maybe they need-
Topsoil. It's like I said, the nursery bedding, is what it looks like to me.
So, all right, can you come to the microphone, please? If there's anybody streaming, they can't hear you.
Oh.
So, all right, so it's not that they weren't put in the proper
Well,
spot.
they're
It's
not
that they're
in the
wobbling because they're never properly installed?
Yeah, because whatever they put there won't pack. It won't pack in and hold
So
them
they probably
sprinkler
just like
systems.
dug out the whole area. When they put it back, they threw topsoil over it.
Well, I
When the
don't think it
thing
was
starts moving,
topsoil. I
goes.
think it was a mixture of nursery bedding. It looks like, when you're planting flowers, that kind of stuff. That's what it looks like.
Real white.
Yeah.
Oh, and they
Like a
did-
potting soil almost.
Almost a mix,
wonder
but
if they-
not
that
very,
was-
not much topsoil.
What'd you say, Bill?
They didn't use that same material, and Heatherstone was not a problem. It packed in the grass.
All right, so Bill has the message, he'll look at it, and then
Okay.
that's something that can be addressed hopefully quicker than the other parts that you were speaking of.
Yeah, okay.
All right, thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you.
And they did replace the heads that were damaged.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just start.
Yeah.
Right? That was Cody and Carl. We want to appreciate, we do appreciate them for doing that.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any new business from the floor?
John, come back on down.
John Music, 45 Coventry Drive, Painesville Township. Again, also want to compliment Mr. Thompson. The other day when I was walking, one of the residents had mentioned a problem with this flooding, and Bill went right over there and looked at it. And like I said, he's always been very responsible, and he does what he needs to do, and I thank you. Okay, the next thing I know, and I know the sheriff's here, and sheriff's heard everything I've said at the commissioners' meeting here. We're talking about, and I saw Gabe on TV there, and the thing about it is increasing the number of deputies we have here in the township. You know, I support law enforcement 100%. I don't care what level it is. And I agree with you, Gabe, we do need more deputies. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like I said, I've lived here my entire life, and I've lived on Coventry over there for 42 years, so I've seen the changes over there. But anyhow, beside the point. And we definitely need more deputies in Painesville Township. And the thing about it is, it's like, just this for instance, you know, it's like, as you probably saw, and I know the sheriff probably has, the state has come out with a plane now that they can actually, instead before they said they used to use from the plane, that they would, now it's easier for them to catch speeders because they have new technology in there, which will basically be similar to the radar that they have in the cars. The guy, was a representative from the state was saying this. So, I mean, and I mentioned this at the commissioners meeting also. To me and some of my friends, they would go out to go on 90 4 or 5 times a week and go out to Route 11. And they say when they go 70 on the 90, people pass them like they're sitting still. In fact, within the last month, they got run off the road by a speeding driver, and thank God it was up there by Vrooman Road. And they went off the road into the berm, but then they were able to straighten up once they got to the ramp there. And the thing about it is I've traveled 90, and if you go 70, and it's very sad in my opinion, you go anywhere. It's like the other day I was going out 86, and I was going the speed limit. It changes right in there. And this guy's running, and he's back here yelling and screaming at me and everything else, and he gets alongside of me, and he gets in front of me and goes 10 miles an hour. So anyhow, I'm just saying here, it's gotten to the point where, just like I heard many law enforcement say, lawlessness breeds other lawlessness. You know, granted, speed limits and stuff are, you know, things just like one of the cities here in the United States says, well, if you don't shoplift more than $950, we're not going to prosecute you. And stupid things like this, you know. What I am saying is here, this was for 2020. The State Highway Patrol, that's where this came from. They had cited 3,975 drivers that were going over 100 miles an hour, the speed limit. And it's just unbelievable. Maybe it's just 100 miles an hour. Then at 20 miles an hour over the speed limit, they had 75,800. And these are just the state highways, and they did mention which roads, and 80 and so forth and so forth. And you know, I go for a walk every day, and just driving down 20 here. And the thing about it is, you go 35, and people pass you like you're sitting still. Even on this spot in here, they've got to be going at least 50 at least. And like right turn on red, I looked up in Ohio law about right turn on red. You're supposed to stop, you know, and if there's a turn line, you stop at the turn line, you make sure there's no restrictive signs, no turn on red or hours or so forth, then you proceed with caution. People don't even stop anymore, just go right through it and make a right turn. And it's just to the point is, where's this end? And what I'm afraid is, it's going to get worse instead of better. And I am asking you that we do need what the sheriff recommends. I fully support 100%. He knows, as I talked in about another item at the commissioners meeting, he's the SME, this subject matter expert. Him and his deputies do a great job for us, but they can only be in one spot at a time. So I'm leaving it up to the three of you to find some way to increase our deputy force here in the township, because we do not want to become someone that people, they just do whatever they want here. And we need to give them the tools to do their job, okay? So I'd appreciate if the three of you could do something to help the people here and get this problem fixed. And I thank you. And I want to thank you, each one of you law enforcement officers. Thank you for everything you do every day for us to stay safe and healthy. So thank you very much.
And just so you know, we are extensive time, we've been working on this to try, and the sheriff will probably tell you, it's a townships touching each other, and some are paying for service, some aren't. That creates even bigger strain on the deputies that we are paying for. So
Sure.
we're trying to work a solution to get us pay for more, county pay for more, and then try to get the other townships to pick up some slack and pay some money there too. So hopefully the commissioners will help, get to them and tell them to start paying up so that it can all be spread evenly. We can get the coverage that we really need in our township.
Yeah,
So
'cause it was mentioned, like Painesville City has 44 police officers, and they're, we have 6.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And, we're growing, and there's more and more people here. Of course, we don't know what the 2020 census is gonna show
Right.
yet, because it hasn't been certified and all that stuff. We've gone through courts for a while, but the thing about it is, the more people we have, the more things that may happen as far as driving goes, because people live here, so.
And you bring it up a lot when we talk about, you bring it up quite often when you speak about taxes and cost of living for the seniors, et cetera.
Yeah.
So it's a balance, right? Because,
Right.
It's
in
additional,
townships, there's only one way to pay for it.
it's
unlike-
additional
It's
taxes.
additional taxes on
Right.
real estate. I mean, there's others, but the bulk of
Yeah.
it, 99% is gonna come from that. So we have to find a balance too, where we don't make it too expensive, like you said on a number of occasions, but get what we need and help give them, the support that they need, which is most important, to make sure everybody's safe.
The township does have inside millage, am I correct?
We do.
And how much of that have we used? It's 10% of, no.
Yeah,
like-
we don't get 10%
We don't get taxes of
because,
Fairport.
Okay.
and a lot of that's going to the school districts and stuff like that. We get, I say we get like 1.8% of that or something like
Correct.
that.
You-
so we
And
don't-
Well, we don't even collect our full 10 mils because
We haven't
Fairport
got our
has
full
some
10
thing
mils.
going on at that corner of Fairport where it
Yeah.
prevents us from actually collecting our full 10. I think we're at like 7.8 or something. So we're really missing out. Don't quote me exactly on the number, but
Right.
we're missing out on 20% of the inside millage we're eligible to collect because of the, what goes on with Fairport in that corner down where the diamond used to be.
Mhm.
It prevents us from fully collecting it all. So that creates, again, even more strain on
Yeah.
our,
And-
that some other communities don't have to face.
And that inside millage is being used elsewhere already.
Right.
It does increase slightly, but then, what it's being used for, those all have inflation on them. So the inside millage, while it does slowly increase,
Yeah.
so do those costs that it currently pays for.
And just like anybody else, just like I had mentioned, I talked to Joe Thomas, the Council on Aging, and as of the last, there was 28.4% of the people in the Lake County are 60 and over. And I talked to them, it's like a friend of mine called me yesterday. Right now, they're paying $11,000 just for the spouse, not the husband. The husband was in the service. And they're paying $11,000 for health insurance a year. And, and they're senior and they're not working now. And, I hear a bunch of stuff like this. But, the thing about it is, we have priorities. Law enforcement, fire protection, there are certain things we need to do, not want to do, we need to do them. And law enforcement and fire protection are two of the things.
And that's why,
So,
since
do what we have to do.
I came on, even before, and when I first came on, that every time, we've done our best to increase, spending in deputies as allowed, taken to the voters, and even come out of the general fund at one point, years back, when Sheriff
Right.
Dunlap was around, asked for some money out of the general fund. We funded that, so we do what we can, and then when we just work out what's needed, we'll bring it to the voters and the residents, and that's the decision maker, you guys and all of us, and that voting booth is what's gonna really decide how much everybody wants. And it's just our job to make sure it's the right amount, to ask for, to make sure that, you know, the sheriff's department office is fully supported and safe, and our residents are safe. And I think that's what we're working on, to find a balance that is palatable and will help everybody and help give them the support they need and the protection they need and we need in the township, while not raising it so far up that nobody can afford to live here, you know, so.
You know, and I agree with you. It's just like I had, many years ago, I had a tour of the 911. In fact, when they built the 911, I did a lot of work in there for as far as circuits and so forth, and for the federal government. And there also, when they built the nuclear plant, I did work in there for the NRC. But the thing about it is, it's just the idea that, Grant, nobody wants to raise taxes or anything like that, you know? And just like I was reading, you know, just like I was reading about the Ohio Constitution. Well, it says Ohio law consists of the Ohio Constitution, Ohio Revised Code, and the Ohio Administrative Code. So I, you know, back in 218 and 219, the auditor back then was Yost. In 18 and 19, it was Faber. They put out a handbook for the townships, which you could, you know, basically ask about questions of what the townships can do and what they can't do and so forth and so forth. So I've learned a lot, and we, you know, like Ohio Revised Code, if I remember correctly, it's chapter 5 for townships, and then if you go down there, I think it's 543 dot something for police protection, and they talk about various things, you know. So there's a lot to learn there, but all I'm asking you is, you know, the fire department and the law enforcement, we need to give the men and women out here to protect the citizens of this township, so I appreciate it.
Don't go too far, because when it comes time for a levy, you're gonna be one of our spokespeople, so.
Yeah.
We're gonna put you to work.
Like I said, and I've told you, all of you before, and I've told the county before, just be good stewards of our taxpayer dollars. And what a township's about, law protect, you know, police protection and so forth, so.
So,
Okay?
John, wholeheartedly agree, appreciate your time. There's wants, there's needs, there's statutory requirements.
Right.
And although all three of those come into conversations with any time a levy is placed and decisions are made. So appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John. What you do? Be healthy and safe.
Do we have any other new business from the floor? Hearing none, we will move on to, I'm assuming there's nobody online.
You didn't ask.
I don't think we do that, we're just streaming.
Oh, we're
now,
just
right?
streaming.
We don't
Okay.
take questions or
Well,
anything.
right, that's correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
we only
Oh,
have
really?
one viewer.
All right, thank you.
Well, I'll get to that and I'll talk about that.
All right.
too.
We will move on. Lake County Sheriff's Office report. Good morning.
For the month of June, we responded to 1,430 calls for service. Of those, 5 were injury accidents, 14 were property damage accidents. We had, our arrests involved a adult male with possession of methamphetamine, 3 adult males for OBI, juvenile male for domestic violence, adult female for possession of methamphetamine, adult male for disorderly conduct, adult female for possession of a controlled substance, adult male for domestic violence and assault, adult male for domestic violence and assault, and then another adult male for domestic violence and assault. Police, assault on a police officer, escape, attempted vandalism, and resisting arrest. That was on Maplebrook. We had an arrest for adult male for theft of a vehicle, and he had a warrant. And then we had a B&E theft, criminal damaging, and possession of criminal tools at Gibbs Complex, and an adult female with possession of narcotics, a warrant in DUS on Northridge. We responded to 38 alarms. We issued 16 citations, 189 warnings, 19 driving under suspension citations. We conducted 146 business checks, 57 crime prevention checks. Responded to 33 animal complaints, 4 assaults, 8 ATV complaints, 3 breaking and entering to vehicle complaints, 34 civil complaints, 16 disabled vehicle complaints, 24 disturbances, 18 domestic violence complaints, 5 drug complaints, 1 fight in progress, 6 theft and threats and harassment complaints, 11 hazard complaints, 15 juvenile complaints, 14 mental health emergency admissions, which are people that had to be taken to the hospital because of mental health issues. 2 missing person complaints, 7 neighborhood disputes, 22 noise complaints, 2 opiate overdoses, 35 parking complaints, 1 robbery, 2 sex offenses, 7 shots fired complaints, which usually are people who are target shooting in the backyard. 88 suspicious circumstance vehicle and person complaints, 18 theft complaints, 42 traffic complaints, 74 traffic details, which I say traffic details is because our officers are picking high traffic areas where we get generally a lot of number of complaints where they conduct specific details in those areas. 31 vehicle lockouts, 3 warrant arrests, and 25 welfare checks of our older, usually our older population or concerns that somebody has for our neighborhood. And that
Thanks.
was for month of June.
Okay, I had a couple questions.
Yes. Oh, yes. So we, in the month of June, we did respond to a shooting. Painesville City initially got called to this because the incident ended in their city. We responded to assist. We discovered that there was a crashed vehicle on Blackbrook and that the person who was shot that was located in Painesville City actually crashed his car in Blackbrook and actually was involved in the shooting on Blackbrook. This originated out of Perry Township. The disturbance continued down, continued through each township, ended on Blackbrook at the first part of it, and then somebody picked them up and then proceeded into Painesville City. So all these agencies were involved, but the brunt of this, one aspect took place in Perry, the main aspect where the shots was fired and somebody was actually shot and then crashed his vehicle was on Blackbrook, and then the victim ended up in Painesville City.
Was that near Newell Creek? Because I'm just thinking from a location standpoint for those all to happen.
Where he was.
Where the
actually
accident
shot.
happened, the shot.
I'm not
I don't know.
positive that Blackbrook's closer to the county engineer's office. Okay, yes, closer to the county engineer's office.
Okay.
So you had mentioned, was that it on that? I had a couple other questions.
That was it.
Okay. You had mentioned, the shots fired with target shooting and that sort of thing.
Yes.
That's something we're trying to address in our zoning. So hopefully here in the short term, we're going to address some stuff in our zoning code to maybe clarify some things.
Okay.
What you talking about?
We can't zone that.
Yeah, right now the zoning prohibits.
Okay, the illegal resolution.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. 8 ATV complaints. So is that
That's down.
that's down? Is that still?
From 32 usually.
Is that how many people have complained? I mean, of those 8.
Those are just the actual calls. Like, so
Okay.
if somebody calls our dispatch center and we get dispatched to it, that's where that 8 is coming.
Do you know if is that 8 from one residence or is there more spread
It
around?
wasn't nailed down specific on here. I don't think we're getting it.
As
very
much
many
from there?
calls from the poll.
I can speak to that guy.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
actually had a meeting with the residents on Bohol.
Okay.
So their complaints were down.
Okay.
But still probably a handful were from, I think, the same people that we've spoken to a couple times.
Okay.
We're trying to work on a detail.
But then there's some other ones in addition to. Are they all in the Bohol area? The complaints or?
No, generally those all come from neighborhoods though.
Okay.
I would say with the 8s, probably 3 or 4 of those came from that Bohol area, and the other ones, just random ones through neighborhoods.
Okay.
But like I said, I sat down with the family over there, so that kind of lessened their normal calls. I think,
Okay.
a month or two.
So
I definitely appreciate meeting with them.
a related story. So we hear about this all the time. I don't live in that neighborhood, but I was there this past week. And as I'm walking down a driveway and I'm reading something, as I was stepping into the sidewalk, an ATV, which completely filled the entire sidewalk, and it was huge, some dude on it, probably in his 30s, came flying by me on a sidewalk, doing about 30 miles an hour. I didn't hear him. I started to step into it, and that quick, he went past me. And I was just thinking, if I was a half step quicker, he would have literally have hit me, sent me flying. I was just shocked. And that quick, he was gone. So I didn't call because there was no point. the guy was gone. I think I saw the car, that ATV over on, in the Bow Hall area, parked over on a side street over there. Anyhow,
And the other thing is, a lot of the complaints that we're getting too are newer neighborhoods, kids on like the really many dirt bikes or on go-karts. So Sergeant Nafalbi actually did a bunch of research on it and put together some literature. It's kind of educating what ORC, because there has to do with, you know, engine size and cubic centimeters and all that, so which, you know, what type of vehicles we can regulate or we can enforce things on, and what are too small to be regulated. And
Really?
it's-
Interesting.
It is. It's getting really complicated because every kid's got a little mini, you know, a little mini scooter or something nowadays.
things are dangerous as hell, too.
Yeah,
When they sit so low, you can't even see them in your rearview mirror.
can. I know. So.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And the last thing I had question, with, either one of you. So the speed trailer that was over by Cali Farms, so I think it was there, I think it might still be there, either not turned on for the display, batteries.
No, it burned out while I was on vacation.
Okay.
So I'm picking it up today.
Okay,
But, and then I'm charging it up, and then I still have some other places that have called, so it's going to another place probably in the next 2 days, because it takes about that long to charge.
Okay.
And then it'll be to another location.
can you,
You guys have more than one, right?
One's Concords, so we had to,
I thought you used to have one that said the speed on it.
this one does.
this one does.
What was the one that was up on 84 that just didn't show the speed, it
Well,
just flashed
the-
slow down?
Well, I set it to 38 miles per hour, like 38 miles per hour. So the sign says 35, I set it 38, so if they're doing 38 or more, it says slow down.
So it doesn't show this,
It shows it up until, it shows your speed up until you're.
That's why, that's
You
why you
never
never, that's
see-
why you never see your speed.
Yeah, you never see it because you don't slow down.
Yeah, so maybe we should be,
somebody in front of me, thank you.
I guess I know who I should be looking for.
If you saw that message.
Could you
would
share
see.
the speed info out of that with me, or if you see anything? So it's the lady that's on the corner there that
Yeah.
reached out to me that made me reach out to you. You know, if you see something alarming, if you even wanted to stop and just let her know that, hey, you know, we recorded the data and, you know, you were right at 5 in the morning or whatever. There are a lot of high speeds and,
Oh, no, absolutely, yeah.
okay.
Question for you, though, real quick. So while you were giving the report, I thought I heard you say DUS.
You're driving under suspension.
Oh, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
You reported 2 missing children. How was that resolved, or?
Most of them get resolved, yes. These were resolved. It's usually a runaway, it just gets entered as missing. And we follow a lot of criteria.
So we're not
policy,
seeing we're not
procedures,
seeing a
and-
big problem of missing
No,
kids here.
no,
And otherwise, you would say child abduction versus missing child, right?
correct, yep.
So we see you guys everywhere. You're all over. You're making the stops. Appreciate it. One of those 74 spots you target, I'm sure, is Lake Road, because I live over there. I see it regularly. My wife called me the other day. She says, by the way, before you're going to work, she says, they got someone pulled over on Lake Road. So, but you guys do a great job. The interactions, everything I see, and you have a very visible presence with what you're working with. So thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Any other questions? No. Thank you. Moving on to department reports. Service Department?
We started this week with sealing the stamped concrete along Menor Avenue, so you should be able to see a marked difference from what it was to what it's going to be. We usually do that every 2 years. This is a year for that. And then we will be, we'll have 3 trucks in the fair parade next week with the painted snowplows to show the community what was done, and that's all I have.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fire Department? All right. Zoning?
Mr. Chairman, I just have one, or actually, I take that back. I have 2 things to carry over from the work session, one of which is Painesville Speedway's request for an extension on our noise resolution. They submitted a letter that was within the reports. They had specifically requested 3 days to extend the curfew from 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. One of the dates was prior to this meeting. I let them know that it was just, the request came in too late to be able to request that date, which they were understanding. We didn't receive any complaints, so I'm assuming they were able to abide by that. That was this past Saturday. I feel like these gentlemen in here could tell us whether or not we got any complaints for noise at the Speedway. So that's.
So they did
that's
it,
good.
they did it this last Saturday,
They-
12 o'clock?
well, they had, no, they had their event on the 17th, and when I explained to them that it was too late for them to request that date for an extension, Kathy Lett is the race director. This was the first time we've dealt with her that I'm aware of. She explained that she understood, and was regretful that she didn't get it in early, but she said that they'll just have to meet the deadline, and I'm assuming that they did so it's good of
Okay.
them,
So,
but.
let me ask a question on this, interrupt you.
Mhm.
So, this happened last year, I think the year before too. This isn't the first time. I thought we've already approved this that we've given them 3 times during the course of the year prior. So when I saw this in the reports, I was surprised to see
Didn't
it.
they
'Cause
still
I
have
thought
to-
it was already done.
Didn't they still have to come to us to ask?
Well, they always do, but it's prior, isn't it? Okay?
Yeah, but I would just think at this point moving forward, because they missed one, we give them 3 every year. If these are pretty much a regular scheduled event with them, we should just empower her to say, submit them, these are your 3 per year, you're good to go, and then anything outside of the normal, then they would bring to us, but this way they don't have to miss and wait for us to do this.
Yeah, I thought it was already done, so when I saw this in my report, I was surprised.
It
So,
was last year, I think they did it, but we do it
Okay.
every year, so I think at this
Yeah.
point, we should just empower her to give them those 3, and then anything outside of that.
okay, good.
So I would be able to grant. Where it's coming from. I would be able to grant them permission to extend the curfew by 1 hour
Yes.
for 3 dates a year or these specific events.
Well, they always have these 3 events, so I would just say that these 3 events moving forward, tell them to give you the dates for where, and anything outside of those, then they ask for.
Yeah, let us know what the
Okay,
dates are, but you
perfect.
have the authorization.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, I think they still request it, just Harley then approves it.
And if there's an issue, she'll address it
Yeah.
ahead of
She
time.
doesn't have to wait for us.
Yeah, you don't have to wait for us.
And I just ask that we be made aware of those dates, so
Mhm.
when we get complaints, we know not to go out there and shut it down.
Mhm.
I would-
Should I just email you? Okay.
There you go.
I can do that. And then, excuse me, while the sheriff's department is here, I know we previously discussed the possibility of basically granting some sort of permissions for me to be able to go out and measure sound decibels for possible noise complaints so that I could transfer that information to you guys. I wasn't sure if you've had a chance to do that research.
I'm still checking with Prosecutor DeLeon. He's been very backed up. So I can't give you a definitive answer right now, but it's still on my list.
Okay.
Just buy one.
Yeah, I'll leave it with that.
Okay.
But I still will go out with you whenever you have an issue that you want to take. a
Somebody
look at.
did, but you don't want to go crazy with
That
it.
way you're not by yourself. If you're in a situation where you think you're going to be in a predicament, just set that up with me.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you. And that is all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I did have a question for you on, looks like maybe we're coming to the end of our data migration to our new zoning software.
Oh,
Um,
our software is live.
And we have, looks like maybe a final payment to the company.
Yes, that is the payment for the setup. So data migration and the training, they bill us once those are completed.
Okay.
And so this is the bill for the completion of the data migration and the training that took place.
Okay. And this did take longer than expected, and didn't they slow us down at one point?
Yes, there was actually, on both sides there was, but they did end up causing some of our delay in getting this out. And a few of the ways that they tried to make it right is by lessening the cost of our annual subscription for last year, and providing us reimbursements for custom reports that we had previously paid for.
Okay. And I was heading down that path, so thank you for getting us there quicker, that we did get some sort of credit out of that.
Talk about that
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Chairman.
Legal advisor?
Nothing to report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Administrator?
Mr. Chairman, I have 3 items. The Township Trustees held family movie night back on Saturday, July 10th. Very nice movie, a beautiful evening, and a lot of families with little kids there, so that was a nice event. We would also like to wish Trustee Chairman Josh Pennock a happy birthday today.
Thank you.
His birthday spanking will be conducted immediately after the meeting. And we would also like to wish a happy wedding anniversary to Chief Deputy Jeff Sherwood. See what you get for being on Facebook? That's all I have, Mr.
All
Chairman.
right, thank you.
It's the best thing I've read on Facebook in a while.
Congratulations. Today's your birthday?
Today is my birthday.
No kidding.
Yes. Fiscal officer.
I request a resolution to certify the cleanup costs for the following properties and amounts. 872 Arden Avenue in the amount of $241. 907 Arden Avenue for $241. 1450 West Jackson for $241. 1209 Riverside Drive for $316. The vacant lot on Beach Avenue, parcel 11B0, 41G020130 for $288. 65 Normandy Drive for $283, and 1450 West Jackson Street for $263.
Second,
All in favor?
discussion.
Yes, sir.
Just clarifying, I saw the same address, West Jackson,
Yeah,
twice.
there's
Two different bills?
amounts, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
2 different cuts,
Okay.
probably.
we cut it 2 different times, and the cost depends on whether full-time or summer help is there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We had a motion and a second.
We
All in
did.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
I have a question though. Do we collect bed tax on Villa Rosa? Why not?
Do we collect it? I think all the bed tax goes
I
to
thought that
the,
townships were able to
Visitors.
levy a bed tax for hotels.
I think all that money goes to the Visitors Bureau. I don't think we're getting any bed tax that I'm aware of. I could look, but.
We are not receiving any bed tax, no.
Yeah.
We are
No,
not
were
charging
allowed
any
to- I
bed tax.
thought I read that we were allowed to levy that against hotels and motels.
Possible that maybe we could, I'm not familiar with that, but my understanding is the bed tax has always
Can you
gone
look
to
into that?
the, yeah, it's always gone to the Visitors Bureau, so.
Okay,
Yeah, if you could look into that, let us know, because
if not, and we can, we, you know, some discussion, there's some activity there, so that could help fund some of the, response to the activity.
Yeah, I don't know how much we would be able to charge or
Well, I
what,
understand,
yeah,
but
so. Yeah, I could look at
that'll
that,
help if we
yeah.
can, right?
We could look at it.
Okay.
We've got legal, we gotta ask for department reports. You never, did you get the legal?
I did get legal.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Trustees, I need a motion to request a resolution to approve payment to HZW Consultants in the amount of $3,365 for professional services rendered at the closed landfill.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to request a resolution to approve payment to Health and Fitness, Inc. in the amount of $5,919.55 for new equipment for the fire department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to request a resolution to approve payment to Dude Solutions in the amount of $11,660 for data migration and on-site training in the zoning department.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to request a resolution hiring Daniel Solomon as part-time zoning inspector. Mr. Solomon will be paid $18 per hour. His work hours will not exceed 28 hours per week, and his start date will be August 16th, 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to request a resolution thanking Classic Buick GMC and Ralph Wilson for their generous sponsorship of the Clyde C. Haddon Memorial Park.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to request a resolution authorizing Painesville Township to proceed with the demolition of an unsafe structure located at 1220 Madison Avenue in Painesville Township, Lake County, Ohio, and to request the assistance and cooperation of the Lake County Land Reutilization Corporation in effecting the same.
Second,
All in favor?
discussion? Is this that property that's been,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, corner of Boulder Ridge. and-
Yep,
Yes.
yep, okay, thank you.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to request a resolution to establish federal grant procedures and to make sure that all employees working with any federal grants are familiar with the uniform guidance requirements.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Trustees, anything else?
No,
Make-
just while we have the sheriffs here, just if you could make the discussion we've had, formal request or ask or recommendation for that second flock camera. Is that something you
Oh.
guys would like?
Sure. Yeah, we've seen some success with flock camera that was installed at 535 in Mano. We've also seen some shortcomings from having one there. You only get one direction, kind of southbound or eastbound, whatever, on 535. So a second flock camera in that area would be helpful.
Okay.
Request that.
And then that comes through, Mike, do you contact
Yes,
Flock
I
or?
will order it.
Okay,
And then they set it up to that.
okay. Great. Anything else?
Oh, I think, John,
Yeah.
has a-
Just clarification, those numbers, the numbers that I gave you, that was 20 miles per hour and then 100 plus, wasn't 100 over. The second one.
Oh,
couldn't-
100
couldn't be
100 plus.
175 an hour. And that was-
We figured that one out.
And that was for 2019, I just assumed. And the one other thing that, you made a comment, and I agree with you. I was this way with the crime levy. And then I had a meeting and a tour. I had a meeting with the people who work there and run it. And then I had a tour of the crime lab. And after going through to see what actually happens and how they do it there, I supported that levy. Like I said, we gotta give the tools to these deputies to do their job. If we don't, they can't do their job. So I just wanted to, because you mentioned about the levy, and I just
Yeah.
wanted to give you some clarification. That crime levy, I was iffy, and after I heard what they did and how they did it, I supported it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, when it comes time, be ready for the roast.
Yeah. That's for a motion to adjourn at 11:57.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.